Hola, mi gente. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of On the Block with Jen. It is good to see y'all here, and it's good to see y'all here early because you know I told you I'm going to start at my start time. So it is good to see you all. Let me get comfy. I hope y'all are comfy. Today is going to be really, really good because you know I'm all about the men's and what the men's are doing. As a heterosexual woman, I like to get into the thoughts, right, of men. And I invited a man's man on the panel today. You guys know him as Alpha Villains. We call him AV around here. And we're going to explore a little bit because we hear a lot about the manosphere, and we even poke fun at how bitter they are and how angry they are and how vitriolic and violent some of them can be. But I want to go to the source, to the beginning. What the hell makes a man join the manosphere? And by the manosphere, I mean the manosphere that you've heard of that's really, really negative. I'm not talking about the 2 or 3 guys that are really nice, because I know that's what y'all gonna hit me with. Yeah, but everybody in the manosphere isn't bad. But the majority, okay, the majority is really a collection of guys that have unresolved issues with their mamas, with their baby mamas, with their ex-girlfriends, or with their current girlfriends, and feel like the manosphere is a place where they can go and vent, because according to some men, they've never had a place where they could vent about anything. But the manosphere is allowing them to, say it with their chest and talk about, all the stuff that, they have suffered as men. According to some men, they've never had a place where they can just be men and talk about what they go through. Now, I call BS and a lot of cap, because I think men have always been very, very dominant and vocal about their wants, needs, and desires, no matter how unrealistic. But according to some, they're like, no, now the manosphere has provided us with a place where we can just, have at it about you evil women. So that's the word on the streets, right? That's the word on the streets. But I want to explore a little bit about what I see as an outsider, because 1, I'm not a man. 2, I'm not part of the manosphere, although I know some women are. But I want to talk about what I'm looking at and possibly give alternatives to men that don't have to join the manosphere, right? Because I think when you feel slighted, when you're hurt, when you're angry, you're desperate to look for people that you can relate to, right? I just need somebody to validate what I've been through, right? And we've all done that, right? We go through breakups. Women, we call our girlfriends like, can you believe he was a dog? And then our girlfriends will say, yeah, he was a dog, right? So we do that. And that's healthy. What's not healthy is staying in it, staying in the funk, staying in the misery, staying in the anger. And I think, unfortunately, for a lot of men, they found themselves in the manosphere. And what the manosphere does for a myriad of reasons is they feed that bitterness and that insecurity, because they have ulterior motives. And some of the women that have joined the manosphere have ulterior motives, right? At the end of the day, it's all about this. And I'm going to explain why, and why it's dangerous for the average man that's just going through some shit and looking for somebody to validate him. Before you know it, he'll be neck deep, in some BS thinking, and also out of pocket, right? Because the manosphere is expensive, right? The super chats are abundant. So I want to talk about all of that today. I want to welcome you all. Thank you for pulling up for me tonight. I love to see y'all here. I'm always going to have something different for y'all. It's never going to be the same. April, I got some good stuff coming up too. I'm always going to give y'all something different. I'll give y'all a little bullshit, but then I'm going to give you some real. And after some real, I'll give you some funny. And after some funny, I'll give you some entertainment. So it's always going to be a good time here. It's always going to be a good vibe. You all are welcome. Tonight is an open panel. So you know what I always say, if you disagree with something vehemently, or you just want to leave your 2 cents or add to it or take something away that I said, you are free to come up on the panel tonight. It is an open panel. So I'm just going to say hello to everybody. What's up, Mo? Sugar Bum, how you doing, lovelies? Strong and humble and here to learn. You're the Crip, yeah? I heard you was coming to say some stuff, and I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to say, because you said you didn't join the Manosphere, you joined the Crips, and that was enough for you. So I'm really curious about your story. Thank you, Jazz Wiz, for that super chat, and thank you for the compliment. So what's up, Principality? Is that Sadadi? Is that Sadati? What's up, Reese? I hope you're here because you always have some good input. What's up, Big Hev? So we're just waiting for Alpha Villains, or like we like to call him AV, to pop up, and we could take it from there. The reason why I wanted AV here tonight again is because he's a very what I would call a very masculine man, and this is a very masculine subject because we're talking about all things manosphere and beyond. And AV had said something one time that was really interesting on a panel. And you probably heard him say it before, I'm not sure, but basically said that he was part of the manosphere due to having somewhat of a failed relationship, I think, and he was all in manosphere, and then he kind of caught himself. So I wanted him to explain that because he's a perfect example of how you can get caught up if you don't catch yourself and take yourself out of it. Now, with that said, you guys know that, some people are beyond help, right? And that's a harsh reality a lot of us don't like to face. Some people are beyond help. They are damaged goods. You guys know I always refer to the movie 300, the discarded. Some people got to be chucked over that cliff because they're just no good, and they remain no good. That's why we all know someone that's in their 60s and 70s and 80s that's still a bitter clown, right? It doesn't stop at a certain age. It is their character, it's their spirit, and that's how they're going to be for the rest of their lives. And we have to steer clear and be wary of those people because they do not change. And I think as good human beings, how we all, I think we all strive to be good human beings. We tend to think that these people are going to change and worth saving. Everybody's not worth saving. And that's a harsh reality that we have to deal with. Everyone is not worth saving, right? So today we are specifically talking to and about the guys I feel can be saved. I feel like there are some people that can be saved if you give them an alternative, right? If you give them a different point of view, if you give them real life experiences. And again, open panel, if you guys want to come up and talk about your experiences and how you were very angry at a woman or about women at one point in your life, and then your point of view changed, that is what we're talking about tonight, okay? Also, ladies, you're always welcome to come up. Even though y'all rarely come up, I'm going to get y'all up here. I would like the ladies up here too. Okay, so let me get AV up here. AV, are you with us?
What's poppin'? What's poppin', Jen? What's good, chat? I appreciate you for having me on, man.
Definitely. Listen, you are one of my favorite panelists.
Thank you, man.
Listen, you give it to us raw, and some of us like it raw.
Let's go. You already know. Yo, Jen. Likewise, man. I appreciate you for having me on, man. I'm always talking about you on my morning show. You're a firecracker, and you're not scared. You're not scary. And your monologue. I was backstage too. Your monologue was excellent because you said a lot of things. And I guess I'm a decent guest right now because I'm still new to this shit, right? And I kind of have one foot in, one foot out. And we're going to talk about a couple of things without exposing shit that I know per se, but you have a lot of good talking points in regards to, the disease. There's more money in the disease than the cure, right? And, the red pills, medicine and shit, niggas want to keep people on the hook. And I get the hustle. I'm not trying to knock hustles, but it could be very dangerous because it's easier for us to be dependent on something it's easier to relate to losers, quote unquote, than winners, because winners, it takes a lot of work to win. So we're going to talk about that. So I appreciate you for having me on.
Thank you for being here. Afi, thank you. Much love to you as well. So yeah, I want to really explore this, right? Because it's easy for us to, become one of them and just bash, right? It's like, well, you guys, you're this, you're that. But I'm like, no, I want this to be a show where we're actually dissecting this. And like I said, I recall you, and some things stick to me. And I recall you saying, yeah, I was about that life. Yeah. But then, I caught myself. So I want to go over some things. Welcome everybody who's just walked in. This is Rejection Should Not Push You Into the Manosphere. And we're going to explain why. AV and I are going to explain why. His channel is Alpha Villains.
Peace.
Open panel, you guys. But I want to get through a couple of things with AV first before I start bringing you guys up. So AV, can you tell us from just briefly or
Yeah,
as long-winded as you like,
sure.
um, tell us. I'm very curious about your journey from, because you said you delved into that manosphere thing and then caught yourself. Can you tell me
Yeah,
us why you even found yourself there and what made you hit the pause?
sure. I'll give you some broad strokes without getting too personal. So I don't recall how I discovered the manosphere, but I did. I guess the algorithm, something happened. So let me just give you some backstory. I'm a big advocate for therapy, right? So I went to therapy. And I talk about this openly on my channel as well. I've been to therapy, and it wasn't over a woman. It wasn't over heartbreak, because I got a pretty good grasp on women. I've gotten my heart broken. I've gotten cheated on, all that shit, right? So, but I went to therapy to connect some dots for me, right? I never really quite fit into the narrative or the way society expected me to behave, right? I wasn't quote unquote black enough to be on the black side, light skinned nigga problems. And then I wasn't white enough to be accepted by my Caucasian peers. So, and I was a little masculine, right? So, me going into the corporate environment, I'm a corporate dude. It's tough because I can be the nicest guy, but my appearance is always going to be judged first. So I had a lot of failures, a lot of losses that kind of made me who I am today, but things were not connecting for me. Fast forward, went to therapy, um, and I had some unanswered questions just in life in general. And long story short, my therapist kind of really connected dots for me and how to embrace my masculinity, not beating my chest, but just being myself, forgiving myself for the guilt that maybe, narrative, society, all that shit put on me. And I found the manosphere somehow, some way, right? Found the manosphere. And I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. I never really, first of all, I was really intrigued by the fact that there were so many men that were lost. Let's start there. So many men that were lost. And not to knock the men that are lost, but I didn't realize that you can make a business out of it. Now, I came into the space with the moniker Alpha Villains. And the reason why I named it that was because I feel like men who are in pursuit of betterment, get their money up, put themselves first, were always villainized, whether it's feminism, all the shit. So I came up with that moniker and I decided to insert myself into the space. I started creating t-shirts with red pill type of themes, and I started hitting content creators. I started submitting it to them, sending them my t-shirts, and that's how I got discovered. Afi Kingdom Podcast is the one who actually discovered me and allowed me to come on. That kind of birthed this. All right. So fast forward to that. So then as I started to get in there, my content was revolving around bashing women, Jen. You know what I mean? Now, let's not get it twisted. You already know I'm gonna respect your house, but I'm gonna call them broads. You see my channel. You already know I'm gonna respect your house, but there are there are some broads that be wilding, okay, for whatever reason, and I'm not putting up with that shit. So some of the things that are said are warranted, but I think a lot of men get caught up in the fact that there are some disadvantages that men have in regards to the things that men want that women can do. So I started gearing my content towards that shit because I know that's what gets likes, that's what gets the views. But then it wasn't congruent with myself because, like I said, I don't really have problems with women. And I started to kind of see behind the scenes. Like, it was just a lot of business models, and it was more of a dependency grab versus really trying to help people. Now, let me say this, even though I got one foot in, one foot out, I'm not naming anybody, and I'm not saying there's no benefit to the manosphere in my view, but what I'm saying is the majority of these dudes really don't care. They just want to get money, and they want to teach you one day they want to teach you how to bang all the broads out. The next day they want to teach you how to settle down with the broad. So I saw a lot of inconsistencies, not to mention a lot of them weren't really fucking with me. So then I said, you know what? Let me do something that's going to sit well with my spirit and talk truth. Talk shit about women as it applies and talk shit about these bitch ass manosphere dudes or these fake ass dudes as I see fit. And I'm just trying to create my lane, and I'm not trying to do shit that's popular. I'm just trying to do shit that works for me because I'm older, and this is technically a young man sport, but I think that the OGs, the message is going to die with us unless we kind of spread it out there. So I'm just utilizing these platforms to just kind of spit the older value, so that way I could save some guys that are lost.
Okay. Chef Shapino, I see you. All good. Haran, what's up? Okay, so I want to first ask before I go to 2 points that you made.
Right.
I first want to say, what is it we'll talk about? Okay. I want to say first, when you said that, they weren't really fucking with you, why do you think that was?
Well, listen, let me say this too. YouTube is hard. This podcasting shit is hard. I don't have any skin in the game, and I don't want any free lunches. And like I said, I told you, Afi Kingdom discovered me, and he extended his hand, and I ran with it. So I took that opportunity and ran with it. And thankfully, I have a little following as a result of that. But I mean that they're not fucking with me, A, because either they hating, or B, more importantly, I'm not really picking a side, Jen. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of favoritism. There's a lot of cults, a lot of cliques in this shit. Like, so like for me, I was scared to collaborate with certain people because I thought it may interfere with my potential collaborations in the future. But then I realized my potential collaboration in the future wouldn't be any better than the person that I wanted to collaborate with. So it's either black or white. And I think that the Manosphere really wants a one-size-fit-all about masculinity. And I don't think that's necessarily the case, because they expect a lot of dudes to do shit that most dudes can't do. Right. And then you Xing them out. So now that you Xing them out, they're gonna stay on there. They're gonna just pray and try to feed off of hope. And I don't think that's the way to do it, because a lot of guys complain as opposed to finding solutions. And I think a man should find a solution and really dictate his own kingdom, as opposed to listening to somebody else and doing it their way. That's just my view on it.
So when you say, giving, it's almost like giving false hope. I relate it a lot to religion, where it's kind of like it's solace, right? It's like pacifying the real problem. Like I may have financial issues, I may have relationship issues, but if I go to church on Sunday and the preacher is telling everything is going to be okay and you're fine as is, because only God can judge you. And I feel like they use the same sort of business model, where it's like, look, ain't nothing wrong with you. Them women are this, X, Y, and Z. You're fine as is. So do you think that's one of the biggest problems? I like when you said, a lot of these guys can't do what these manosphere men are presenting. What are those things you think that, the majority of men just cannot do?
Yeah. Income, you know what I mean? Income, income generation, you know what I mean? Like in terms of earning income, I mean, the average incomes vary. Expectation. I just think there's a lot of unrealistic expectations. Now, I know the dating apps are crazy. Things have changed dramatically due to social media. And again, women do definitely have a lot more attention. A lot of women have a inflated ego as a result of the attention that they're getting. So to me, in my findings, I find that a lot of women are very delusional. However, men are also delusional.
Okay.
Because they feel like them being right about a woman's delusion is going to solve their problem. It's like they rather be. So, I often say that women rather be right than happy. I think I said that the last time on the show, but men also would rather be right with a bunch of dudes than not find a way on how to manage what they ultimately want, which is a relationship. Because most of these dudes want relationships. They want broads. They want to do things, but they're looking at the next guy on camera, on boats and all this shit, doing shit that they can never do. So again, I think, we always talk about in the space that women live comparatively. And I think that's true. That's a fact to me. Women want to impress their friends, their family members, etc. But men, now men, on the other hand, men are starting to apply what they find attractive in women to themselves. Now men want to impress other men. It's like growing a big beard and shit. Big beards are only impressive to other big dudes, or like niggas that are benching heavy weight. Chicks don't care about that shit. You impressing the next dude. So men need to really get back to the essence of being a man and focus on themselves, so that way they can dictate how they want to live their life. The thing is this: men get rejected from women, so now they want companionship. So now they go to these quote unquote cults. And they're trying to fill a void that they can typically get themselves if they worked on themselves. A lot of guys don't want to embrace solitude. We talk about monk mode and solitude, Monk mode in solitude to me is not talking to anybody, male or female. Now,
Right.
let me say this, Jen, real quick, because I'm long-winded. I'm
Mhm.
encouraging men to seek help, bro. Coaching, therapy, whatever you want to do. Because on my channel, I don't want to discourage men from finding out what they need to find out. Because I think the best lessons in life is through trial and error.
Mhm.
But you have to have a grain of salt. You have to really have some discernment. And I think a lot of young guys today, even older men, don't have any discernment. They're too reliant on someone else's win, and they haven't even decided to get on the field to play the game.
Mm. So I love what you said when you said, rather be right than happy, because, yeah, a lot of the stuff that I've heard a couple men say, I'm like, yeah, that's true. I've seen women do that, or yeah, I may have done that before in the past. So that's true. So it's like, okay, so now that you're right about it, now what? Like, now what? Like,
That's what
now
I'm
what?
saying.
How are you going to move forward, have discernment, and pick a woman that's nothing like that? Because, okay, we've established that. So now what from here? What's up, Haran?
Peace,
Haran,
peace.
Haran said that the manosphere is filled with incels. And something else you said where it's like, it's so important. I want people to hear this. So please share this because it's important in these streets, especially. But I
Right.
want people to hear that a lot of these men, they're looking for companionship at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And if they feel like they keep failing with women, now they're finding companionship with these men, which still leaves you a heterosexual single man,
Right,
right?
right.
And if you're heterosexual, everybody wants to be in a relationship, I would think. And I'm not knocking, what's up, Mark Randall? And I am
No.
not knocking religion. It's just that I see a lot of similarities, but it's similar to like women who do the, well, I'm married to Jesus, so I don't need a, yeah, but you're still single and your issues are
Bro,
resolved, right? So in
listen.
that way, that's similar. So don't think I'm please don't email me about I'm knocking. I'm just
Right.
making the comparison.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Nah, that's a fact. And I always say this on my channel. I think we're better together than apart. Now, again, I'm not encouraging guys to get in relationships, but ultimately, at the end of the day, people want companionship, right? You know what I mean? So I think men need to stop the cap. It's like men are more concerned or scared how their peers are gonna view them, as opposed to really doing shit that's gonna, resonate and be good for them. Like I said, there's coaches now, respectfully, that were last year they were on one side of the spectrum. This year they're on another side of the spectrum. Now, I would always applaud a man for growing, evolving, having a different perspective. I always leave that door open. However, I typically talk to the audience who perhaps may have paid someone to teach them how to do this. And let's say now that they're good at doing this and the person who taught you is no longer doing this, you still want to do this, but now the person's no longer doing this. What you gonna do?
Mm.
You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, a lot of these guys are feeding them fish as opposed to teaching them how to fish.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm talking about. So for me, like I said, I'm a hustler. Duh, I know what it is. I'm not knocking hustles, but I always try to give people an opportunity to make a better decision for themselves, because I really find, quite frankly, Jen, I think there's a lot of value in the manosphere and the red pill spaces. This is why I'm still in it. I enjoy it, and it's actually therapeutic for me. However, I don't really care, because there's an opening for me to kind of be in the middle. And, and I always say this too, Jen, the best guys with game are going to answer your question with a question. What does that mean? Basically, if you ask me a question, I'm going to say, well, what do you think? Because we want you to come to the answer on your own. I can
Mhm.
steer you to the truth, but I can't give you the truth, because my truth is not the same as your truth, Jen.
So I want to go back to something that you said in the beginning. It's important because I think it's how a lot of people find religion, find cults, find sexual activity that's not healthy for them.
Right,
It's
right.
fitting
Hmm.
in, not being able to fit in. I have a similar story like you, where it's like, yeah, I'm Latina, but it's like, well, not really, blonde, blue eyed enough
Right,
the Spaniards,
right.
and not, I mean, black enough
Yeah,
for the, I mean,
yeah.
ah, Luisa, Puerto Rico. So it's like
Right,
that way. And also, I know how to be neutral and see both sides. I'm not picking women's sides that bash men, and I'm not picking a man's side who's bashing women, because I'm like accountability, and a lot of people use that word and don't know what it means and don't know
right,
how to apply it. So,
right.
like you, I'm very much in the middle, right? But in this space in particular, if you don't pick a side, you're not going to have a views. You have to pick a side. People have to know, because everybody's like, you know what I mean? Like climbing over each other, looking for an answer, looking for a space. So, and I also want to touch on when you said, you know, the alpha villain and why it's looked at as a villain. And I just want to put out there that women are looked at the same way. When you are strong and you are vocal, you know what I mean? You're a bitch and this and too demanding, too loud, too masculine. So women go through the same exact things. And I just want to open this up so people can see that we're all going through the same thing at one point or another.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good, but shout out to Merciless Reese with the super chat. Yeah, I appreciate you, bro. Shout out to you, bro. Bay Area, stand up. Now, you said something important, man, and that's a very good point. I think a lot of men disregard the struggles that women have. Now, listen, like I said, bro, these broads have advantages that most men don't. They don't have to lose weight. They don't have to do this. They can have 4 or 5 kids and shit, and they still getting action. They still getting their rent paid. So that's let's not act like that doesn't exist. However, women do have struggles and hurdles. Now, it's not necessarily my place or my problem to deal with a woman's hurdle unless I am romantically involved with her. Now, I always say this too, Jen. I want a strong woman. I want a woman who's career-minded, who's ambitious, because that's what turns me on. Quite frankly, I'm a sapiosexual. I like somebody who's intelligent. You don't have to be book smart, but you have to stimulate me in other ways. That's going to make everything else stimulated. But I think a successful relationship is when you have 2 strong people and they know when to suppress their strength at the right time. Right? This is called picking your battles and shit. It doesn't make you a simp. It doesn't make you, I mean, at the end of the day, if you are upfront with your partner or potential partner, you're not a simp because you kind of put out the disclosures out there already. And now it's up to her whether she wants to adhere to them. But it doesn't mean that everything is written in stone. Now, there are some non-negotiables for me. I'm sure there's some non-negotiables for you. Right. But when somebody, quote unquote, earns us to bend the rule a little bit or put in the time, you have to kind of incentivize somebody for being submissive. You have to kind of incentivize a man for doing shit that the way you like it, because that's going to incentivize you to continue to do that. Now, like I said, I've never really been a simp per se, a quote unquote simp. I've done simp shit. And what I said the last time I was with you on the show, I said, yo, I tolerated disrespect longer than I should have because I was trying to out disrespect her. That's dumb. So that could be quote unquote simpish, but at the end of the day, man, for me, you know, at my age, and I want to encourage younger guys and women for that matter, be upfront. Now, don't let anybody tell you that your expectations are unrealistic, because there's always going to be somebody that will adhere to them. It's all about how much they're into you, because a lot of guys, again, blanket statements, they say a lot of these broads are delusional, and a lot of them are. But I've met a lot of delusional broads that woke the fuck up real quick when they got with me. You know what I mean? So they snapped out of it because they were interested in me enough to know, okay, he's not putting up with that shit. On the flip side of that, when you have your shit together and you like this, that deters a lot of women too, because I can't get over on this dude. Right. So it's a filtering process.
Yeah, and women are going to, you know, I just think it's innate. It's sort of like a cat and mouse. Women are going to push and see if she's with a man.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
A woman is going to push and see if she's with a real man. That is what's going to happen. I want to get into Tristan. Simp, right. As he says, simp lifestyle, the best lifestyle. He's nuts.
It ain't tricking if you got it. Apex is all good.
Right. Thank you so much for the super chat, Merciless Reese L. Black.
Peace.
Just passing through the tip just for the title alone. Salute to you too. Thank you. Salute
Appreciate
to you
you,
as
bro.
well, sir. So I want to get into the little subjects in between that we see in the Manosphere a lot. Super chats versus solutions. A lot of these guys are making a lot of money, hand over fist. Bro. So what do you think about? Do you think that the ends justify the means? Are the super chats, these guys are super chatting, are they getting solutions in return? What's your opinion? Do you think they're walking away, logging off, and it's like, I feel better, I can go out there?
Yo, that's a great question, man. That is an excellent question because I'm a content creator. I'm under 1,000 subs. Make sure you guys subscribe to Alpha Villains on YouTube.
Please do. It's worth it.
You know what I mean? Yeah, no doubt. But that's a great question. But to be objective, you are absolutely fucking right. No, of course not. Because it's not a one size fit all. This is why I encourage coaching or therapy because it's tailor made. It's like getting a suit fitted. You can't listen when you have problems, you have trauma, shit's not working out for you, bro. You can't do it off the rack, bro. You got to go to a tailor. You got to get questions. You got to get an assessment. The super chats are ridiculous. Now, I will be capping if I say I didn't want super chats. Absolutely.
We all want super chats.
Yeah, we want smoothies and all of that shit, no doubt. But at the same time, you said something important. Super chats over solutions.
Right.
And it's monkey see, monkey do at this fucking point. It's monkey see, monkey do because like guys are paying to be heard, but you're only heard for like 2 seconds and then you're done. And we know you're not making no money. So as opposed to doing that, I would invest my money perhaps in coaching or one-on-one so you can really get an assessment. And Jen, quite frankly, man, all these young kids, man, respectfully, all this free content out here, Jen, the answers are there, bro. Jen, when we were growing up, we ain't have this, man. We had to fucking fall on our bike, scrape our knee, put Neosporin. Now you get these guys are figuring out how to like stitch shit up on this everything. You guys have everything handed to you. So the super chats, I'm not discouraging you from doing that, but what I am saying is how what are you getting out of those super chats? But besides making somebody and encouraging somebody to continue to do the fuck shit that they're continuously doing and not really helping you because they don't care unless you super chat them. They're not acknowledging you unless there's a color coming up or you drop some money. So you got to be mindful with your money, man. You know what I mean? So I agree with you.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, if your money is right, and I'm not talking about 6 figures because that gets thrown around a lot. Right. And I said, if you're looking for the rich people, they're all here. All the gangsters and the wealthy, they're all in the YouTube streets. They're all here. Bruh. All the killers are here.
Listen, man.
But I was saying that, you know, if it's just extracurricular, right? If you're just like, let me throw some money because I like this entertainment, that's
sure.
good. But if you're throwing money because you think these people are helping you and they're not, then that's when it's dumb. If you're throwing money and you yourself are financially strapped, then it's dumb, right?
You said something. I know that you're an atheist. I'm gonna say this. It's like the collection plate, bro. Yeah. The collection plate at church. Listen, man, respectfully, it's like, now I believe in God. I believe in a higher power, right? I know you don't, but what I'm saying is, it's all about giving, right? And I think they call something called tithe, right? You tithe. Yes. Basically, that means you take 10%, 20% of your check, you give it to yourself. There's a reason for that. I bet you most of you dudes that are super chatting these niggas are not giving to yourselves. You still bummy, you still wearing outdated shit. But yet you either applaud a dude that's saying shit that you wish you could say. And if you would say it, it's free. And there's more value in that because you're going to learn how to do it. You're going to learn whether it works for you or not. Or you're going to learn whether this way, the way he's telling you, is done for you. So listen, again, let me say this before these niggas come at me. I'm not discouraging you niggas from super chat. Do what you want with your money. But do like those other folks. Because let me say this too. The niggas that are making the most money, bro, they're not super chatting other content creators, bro. And if they are, they're giving them $5, $10. These niggas got bread. I know, I'm behind the scenes. So you got to pay attention to how this shit works, bro. If they appreciate you, fine. Because you guys got to remember, we make these channels. You know what I mean? So you, the subscribers, have a lot more power than you think. Don't think that because somebody had the courage to get on the mic, have more power than you. You can have as much power as them. But there's power in the dollar. There's power in your dollar. There's power in your viewership. So if you guys stop to think that you have a lot more power in your voice and your dollar, you may reassess the people that you support, the people that you're looking at, and the things that you're learning. Because you need to ask yourself, if you subscribe to this person for a year, how much have you learned? How much have you applied? Right. And if you running in place, you need to look in the mirror and figure out what you're doing.
Learning and applying is big. And I listen, I like me a super chat too.
Facts.
I like my smoothies, but I will
Right.
say, if you're, I would say always, 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 these gym memberships are super cheap now. They're super cheap now.
Right.
Get
Right.
a gym membership. Go to H&M, go to Forever 21. You don't have to be shopping at, you know what I mean, at Neiman Marcus. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But there are ways that if you are gonna come out of pocket, if you must, then at least invest in yourself. That is all I'm saying.
Right. Sure, absolutely. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because a lot of guys, they lead with their wallet. And listen, man, when you got listen, this is another thing. Listen, if you're gonna try to step to an attractive woman like a Jen or somebody who's bad or what have you, she's probably been around, not promiscuous, but she's had experiences. Now you need to stay in your lane.
Mhm.
Now, if you don't have those experiences, you need to get out there so you can accumulate those experiences. So at the end of the day, it's not the clothes that make the man, it's the man that makes the clothes. You guys will learn that as you get older. There's dudes that can rock a black t-shirt, jeans, and sneakers, and they could bag your bitch.
Oh, yeah.
Pardon me, bag your broad. But
They do.
at the end of the day, now I'm not saying that looking nice and leveling up is not important, but it's all about what you want to do. Like I said, man, there's more people in the bleachers than in the actual game. And I think this is where it's dangerous because now you want to repeat something that somebody said that's in the game to a woman. She's not going to be receptive to what you said. And now you're going to be mad at women.
Right.
And now you, instead of buying something for yourself or taking that broad out on a date, you're going to send him more money. So he can keep saying and repeating the same shit that led you right back to him. You understand? So,
Right.
like I said, man, you guys need to have a little bit more discernment. I don't think you guys give yourself enough credit. Yes, it's hard. Dating is hard. If you're not a certain look, yeah, these broads are not messing with you. But there's somebody out there for everybody. In the meantime, while you leveling up, get practice. You may not be ready for a woman that's attractive or more attractive, but you could get with somebody that you can get the practice. Because if you do get the woman that's attractive, you're probably not even gonna know what to do with her.
Right.
So,
We teach teacher. So let me get on the ladies for a minute, okay? Because
let's
this is,
go.
this is something else I've seen rising since the Manosphere, and I don't even think that the dudes know now they're being hustled two ways. So
Let's
I want
go.
to discuss the pick me hustlers. The pick me hustlers, the pick mishas, the pick me hustlers. Now, these women
Right.
are being pick me's for one of two reasons, okay? And I'm about to put y'all up on some game,
Let's
fellas.
go.
Okay. The pick me hustlers is one of two reasons. One, either she's never gotten this type of attention before, and it's very easy to get attention on social media if you just agree with men. That same thing y'all talk about, oh, he's just simping, he's just agreeing with her because he want to get in her pants. Women do the same thing. Women that are not particularly very attractive or haven't gotten, you know what I mean, attention, especially attention from black men. Okay, especially attention from black men. Now they can go in these spaces, and it's like, all I have to do is agree with everything he has, everything he says. The second reason why these pick me's and these pick meshas exist is because it's money. And I always joke around. I said, if I stop everything I'm doing and restart my page tomorrow and just tell men that they are the alpha and the omega and the most beautiful thing walking the planet and they deserve head 3 times a day and sandwiches and dinners, my pockets would be this fat. Okay, my pockets would blow up. So one, it's a hustle, and two, they're just happy to get the attention. But either way, it's a hustle and you're being hustled. Now we're from New York, can knock a hustle, but you
Mhm.
have to know where you're spending your money and the animal that you're dealing with. This is a whole
Right.
different monster
Yeah.
on the streets. And these women now are looking like, oh, so all I gotta do is agree with these idiots, these bitter idiots, and now I get paid. And that's why I say it's a pick me hustle. So have you seen that? Because I see it popping up now more and more
Yeah.
often. I mean, it's smart. It's smart to cater to a guy that you know you're never gonna give any to. You know what I mean? It's smart.
Sure.
What do you think about that now?
Yeah, that's that's awesome. Yeah, the pick me hustlers, absolutely. I mean, Jesus Christ. See, quite frankly, in my experience, I don't think now they're innately, if a woman is in tune with her femininity, right? Her instinctive nature. She's a natural hustler, bro. But a lot of these women are not in tune with their femininity, right? So then now they want to try to embrace a lot of masculinity traits. So now they're kind of off center, right? So now they're kind of doing shit that's masculine, that's not really working for them. And dudes are like, nah, I want a woman. And yet they're still women. They still get their period and shit. So they're kind of off center. Now, if a woman is smart, she will be in tune with her femininity. She will use her femininity to her advantage. I always tell women, listen, you fighting for a crown, you fighting for a spot that's already yours. Like I always tell girls, yo, fix your crown. Your crown is crooked. Like you fighting for my crown, but my crown is too big. Like if a woman is smart, right, and there's a bottle of Gatorade, clearly she can open it. But Avi, can you open this for me? Boom, I'm gonna open it. I'm gonna feel good, right? Yeah. Or, oh, daddy, you threw it down, even though my shit was 5 minutes. Point is this. A lot of these niggas don't understand that the YouTube is free, bro. So you guys think that this is a secret society, a secret community. Women are listening, especially with Kevin Samuels, the Fresh and Fits, all the top guys that are really spitting this shit. Women are hip to it now. So what do you think? You think women are not going to say, okay, he's not texting me now because KS said this to do this. Or he probably watched YouTube and a nigga told him not to do this. So, you know, I'm going to do it better. I got more options than him anyway. So, you know what? I'm not going to sweat it. So you running in place. This is why I always encourage men to not attach themselves to labels. Now, for me, there's value in the red pill, the ideology. There's value in the MGTOW, but you can't abuse it. Now, I'm not the police of the manosphere, bro. I don't want to be a part of that shit, but I police myself, and whoever rocks with me, I'm like, bro, this might be this might be going on. But at the end of the day, like you said, women are opportunists. They're gonna take advantage, and I don't knock them for that. Like you can't knock a lion for wanting to attack a gazelle, bro. So like if a woman is an opportunist, people label that as a bad thing. Men could be an opportunist too, but they rather focus on the fact that women are opportunists as opposed to going after their own bag. See, I always tell guys, men can do exactly what a woman can do. Yes, you can't do it as much as a woman can, but if you focus on yourself, you can maneuver accordingly too. So women are definitely hip to the red pill, the manosphere, all the shit that was a secret is no longer a secret. So now what happens, Jen? Now you got more dysfunction, you got more bodies, you got more infidelity, more ghosting, more strategies, more games. And then when you get tired, you get to a certain age, you tired, you don't deal with the shit, you can't find nobody. Now we become fur parents. We get dogs, cats, etc. So at the end of the day, man, it's all a fucking game. The dating market is crazy. But it takes two, right? All I can say is control what you can. You can't control another person. You can't control a woman. You can't control the man. Focus on yourself, and whatever you believe in, you'll attract, right? I feel like if you a certain way, it may be because you are that person. Like if you're attracting ratchet broads, you might be a ratchet person. You're not looking in the mirror. You're too busy looking at her. Look at yourself, and then eventually you attract something that will maybe more in line with what you're looking for. But a lot of niggas don't know what they're looking for. They're too busy watching YouTube.
That's a great segue, because the next thing I wanted to touch on is self-improvement. Now, when we tell men, but as women, what we would like to see, it's like, it's in a woman's voice. I want you to say it in a man's voice. What are some simple things? Because look, 9 times out of 10, y'all not gonna make 6 figures. 9 times out of 10, you're not over 6'5". 9 times out of 10, you don't have the chiseled jawline. 9 times out of 10.
That's a fact, man.
But it is a fact, and I'm telling you as a woman,
real,
a dude in a t-shirt with swag can take you from somebody who's in a suit making 6 figures. It is true. That is a fact. Okay. So, AV, what can you say? Little self-improvements here and there for the men watching that they can do. That doesn't take all of that, right?
Yeah, facts. I mean, Jesus Christ, man. It's tough. I mean, obviously, to each his own, right? I mean, I think there's no, like I said, there's no one size fits all, Jen. Like some women prefer a huskier dude. Some women prefer taller dudes, shorter dudes, etc. Like I said, You know, when I was younger, you know what I mean? I used to be real ripped, physique. I used to be at the gym all the time. Now it's like, you know, I like a snack or two and shit. I'm like, man, fuck it. I can still take my shirt off and I look good I'm not going in the pool with my shirt on, Jen, but it pales in comparison to before. But what I will say this.
I've seen that.
Peep game, Jen, peep game. Watch this. So when I used to be in the best shape of my life, rip, diesel, I still was not fulfilled. It's like being in a room full of people and still feeling alone, right? I liked the way that I looked, and I thought by me looking that way, I would attract more substance. Yeah, I got more broads, but nothing of substance, right? So as you get older, guys, your knees are gonna get out, etc. Now, there's some people that are blessed, right? That are always gonna be fit, petite, like a Jen, for instance. And she has a right to have requirements of the man that she's attracted to. You can't knock her for that, bro. But you can expound on the shit that you can control. Get your cardio in. You know what I mean? Yeah, you may not have the best body, but your cardio, you can go longer. Your drip, your clothing, it doesn't have to be top notch Neiman Marcus, but your drip, grooming, for Christ's sake, smelling good, your teeth, how you carry yourself, because you see a lot of women who are overweight who have no business having confidence. And they have confidence, Jen. And I'm gonna keep it real with you.
They're about to write us, AB.
Yo, peep this. Yo, there's broads outside that are big. And I'm not into big chicks, respectfully to all the heftier women. I find them attractive because they don't give a fuck. They just like, yo, they're feminine. They're not acting crazy, but they're just like, yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like, and women are attracted to that. Men are attracted to that as well, because there's a certain attractiveness to delusion, not negative delusion where you think but like, just like you so confident in yourself, you realize, listen, I'm not going to be taller than 6'5". I'm not going to have the jawline. I'm going to do what the fuck I can and shit. Whoever fuck with me, but I'm going to maximize and optimize everything that I can control. So at the end of the day, Jen, before you guys want to go to H&M, before you guys want to go to the gym membership and all that shit, get your mind right, bro. Because there's a lot of fine dudes outside that got money that look good, but they can't hold a conversation. And I think the most important thing as you age, because you all will become our age one day, don't get it fucked up. It's all about, you got to like the person, Jen, right? Like a lot of dudes, everybody's focusing on arousal. Nobody's focusing on actually liking a person. And if you could like a person, bro, you can deal with the bullshit. You can kind of like, you know what I mean? And because like I said, everybody wants a relationship or companionship. You ain't got to get married. You ain't got to live with her. But you want a companion that, you know, every time we rock out, we have a good time. Mm-hmm. And that can grow into something. But I think your mind, you guys need to do a digital detox. Get off Instagram, get off social media, get off YouTube for a minute. Look at life, right? Trial and error. And then once you come back, you'll see it's like, damn, you know what? I don't necessarily need this as much as I thought I did, because it can be very addicting. I mean, what do we do when we first get up, Jen? We take a shit, we looking at the phone, we swiping, whatever. It's like a routine. This is what this shit was made for. So men need to focus on their mind first, and then their physical, and everything else comes after that.
Yeah, and that's a great segue to the next topic, and I want to welcome up Reese from Philly and Haran to Marco.
Peace.
How are you, gentlemen?
Hey, what's good?
What up?
Are we not up here teaching like the teachers we are? Okay. By the way,
yeah, we got you.
Hear you, AV. Okay. By the way, I me a fern. So if y'all see me with a fern, yeah, I bit. Okay, I just.
That's all good. Yeah, you already know we tropical people. Yeah, hell yeah.
Just so if y'all like, oh, she did that because AV. Yes.
Nice. Yeah, we tropical. Let's go, Jen. Yeah.
So I wanted to say, I think you're like psychic, AV, because the segues have been on point. The next thing I want to talk about is your lane GPS. It seems like no one has the GPS to their lane. And this is something, and I'm gonna get on you fellas now, because this is something that has existed way before social media. Okay, the guys would stand on the corner, then have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of, and he watched me walking with my little bag down to my corporate job, you know what I'm saying, and still think he had a shot with abandon, okay, hey. Hollering at me all the way. I'm like, do you not see?
That's New York though, Jen. That's New York.
true. I'm like, do you not see me on my way to a job,
Right.
sir? I am on my way to work. So what is it with people not accepting their lane? We hear a lot about women. Well, you average at best. You're delusional. You're fat. You're this. But fellas, no te quedan atrás, okay? You right up there with the women being delusional about your lane. What is the problem? Why don't people understand their lane, and why are they so insulted by their own lane? That is your lane, sir. That is your lane, ma'am.
Damn. Hey, bro, you go. You just came in, man. You hit that.
Hey, look, I was 6'4" when I was 13. My body is cut up like Nicole Simpson. I'm worth over $1. Hey, I don't know what else to tell you.
Did he really say that? Wah, wah, wah.
Listen, I said that because I want y'all to know that I worked so hard and tirelessly to get this way. And I mean, I took an entire year off from women, fun, spending money on things that I want. And this is how I did it. And that's why I speak arrogantly the way I do, because of how hard I worked. I'm talking about tireless nights, 4 hours sleep, 5 hours of sleep, 4 hours in the gym, you know, saving money, passing up Jordan drops that I wanted to grab, and this type of thing. It takes a lot of discipline, especially when you're in a low state and you know that you're in a low state and cognitive of it and you want to get out of it. You have to put in the work. And sometimes it's going to hurt. Matter of fact, all the time it's going to hurt. And you got to deal with it. If you've been shot, if you did a bid, if you've been through some bullshit through a woman, your manhood has already been tested. Your durability has been tested. So put it into action to better yourself. Same way you did in every other area of life. If you was on the block, you know you was going hard to the wee morning and all that. Well, that works the same way for everything else. So it's hard work and determination, bettering yourself, and then you come out here looking for a high value woman. You work on yourself, and so that you have the right to look for a high value woman. You see what I'm saying?
Facts. I agree.
Like I've known some guys that it's like whenever you see them, their fingernails are dirty, and they're not mechanics. And they are not mechanics. So it's little things you have to.
Oh shit!
And these are adult males. These are adult males. So you have to understand that when you do approach a woman, we're looking at you like, I don't know how, you know, like the Terminator, like that movie. I forgot the name of the movie.
Scanning them up. You're scanning them.
We scanning you, right? And you look like she's having a regular conversation with you. And we done already scanned, you know what I mean, how you groom, your nails, your teeth. You know, I visited some guys. I'm like, why don't you have a tongue brush and a flosser and a toothbrush, right? Like you have to have certain tools in the cabinet for me to take you seriously.
Hey, Jen, can I add? This is why it's more important for men to be on point and to be really strong on their betterment mission, more so than women. Number one, we are the ones that seek after women, okay? They're the ones that's going to choose. So, you know what I mean? We have to be on point. Not only that, they outnumber us. You see what I'm saying? So that's another thing that plays into that. So we have to be on point. You know what I mean?
Facts.
Right.
I agree. Jen, let me piggyback on what you said. You know, but let me say this though. Let me just be objective and shit. Let me twist it up a little bit. But I'm saying though, you know what I mean, you looking good in the hills and shit, the corporate shit. I'm gonna shoot my shot because, Jen, why? Because you learn from losses, right? Even if you turn me down, I'm gonna learn from that. And next time I see you catch the 6 train or the 4 train, I'm gonna cut my nails, you know what I mean? Or, you know what I mean? I'm gonna learn. So peep this, guys. I understand what Jen is saying, but always take your shot because, and not in your case, Jen, but in my findings, the most attractive women are the most insecure. Now, not in your case. Like I said, hold up. Not in your case, man.
Wait.
Some, not all word. Yeah. Nah, but what I'm saying is, no, all jokes aside, man, take your shot, guys. What do you have to lose? Now, see, that's the thing, Jen. A lot of guys are scared to get rejected. You know what I mean? And quite frankly, not in your case, but I find that a lot of attractive women, they're either very insecure or they're starfish in bed. They're lame in bed. Why? Because they didn't have to work for shit. They don't know how to arch their back. They don't know how to ride. Some, not all, no doubt. But what I'm saying is, so it's like some of these celebrities and shit, these good-looking dudes, Johnny Depp, allegedly, or Drake and shit. They don't really have to work, so they don't have a lot of game. So I encourage men to take your shot, man. Don't look at a woman's beauty as a hurdle. incentivize yourself if that's what you want. Because the thing is this, they're gonna look at your beauty gem. They're gonna think, oh, she ain't gonna like my nails, so I'm not gonna talk to her. Now they're gonna be mad at you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's women that may look like Jen that don't care about your nails.
Correct.
So you gotta take a chance, guys. What's the worst that could fucking happen? A lot of you guys want to take your shot when it's 2:30, 3 o'clock, when it's last call for alcohol, and it's already too late. You got 3.5 seconds when you stare at a border, you lock eyes with her. You gotta say something or just keep it fucking moving. Now you looking creepy. So take your fucking shot, fellas, because what's the worst that can happen? The more no's you get, the closer you are to a yes. And a woman that's attractive, she may be having a bad day. You make her smile, and she may appreciate your persistence, bro. Because a lot of attractive women don't get hit on as much as you guys think. They get a lot of stares, but a lot of guys are intimidated by that beauty. So take your fucking shot.
So I'll to that. Haran, do you want to go?
Let's go.
Yeah, I want to talk about a few other things. I think we need to really also be mindful about, where we're budgeting things. Like one of the main things that we don't really talk about enough, especially as men, we don't talk about the importance of diet. Like if you don't, you should be drinking a healthy amount of water, my dude, because that affects your skin. You know what I mean? You trying to get at a woman and your skin is ashy, your lips are peeled, you clearly don't, take care of yourself. You know what I mean? You drink more malt liquor than you actually drink water. That's really going to be a problem, especially if you're asking for head. And we all know what happens in those situations if you're secreting. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? You have a horrible aftertaste going on. She's going to tell you about these things. Ooh. Oh yeah, these are the real things. You know what I mean? You should have a fruit diet. Fruit diet, celery, so on and so forth. You should be investing. Yes, you should be investing in a solid wardrobe. However, most of the money that you have, the resources that you have, should be going to your shoes, your teeth,
bingo,
and your skin regimen.
Yeah.
And if you can get a gym membership in there, awesome. Because let me tell you something, man. If your skin is right, your teeth are right, you're looking straight, and your body is right, you could damn near throw on anything. And if it falls correctly, especially if you work on your upper body, because the upper body is king. Work on your legs too. Always work on your legs.
Yeah.
But the upper body, it's an upper body business, as they say. If she sees that V shape and that low body fat count, then hey, yeah, you're gonna get attention. You know what I mean? Rather than the other dude who spent a whole bunch of bread on his name brand outfit, but his teeth are yellow, the skin is blotchy, you know what I mean, and his breath smells terrible. And what he ingests, it comes out of his pores. He's not really going to get it like that. So it's the little things. It's the little things that you invest in that won't really cost you that much money. And your shoes also, man. Your shoes. Women look at shoes, bro.
That's the first thing.
You know what I mean? Look, you know what I mean? Invest in your shoes. You know what I mean? And if you do those little things, man, things will go a long way for you.
And I have to say, that is correct. As a woman, I can confirm you do taste like what you eat and what you put in your body.
Let's go.
If you're a smoker, it comes out of your pores. I'm like, can you eat a candy bar? Eat a candy bar before you come see me. Do me that favor.
Word.
Right? It's like this grown folk talk. We're grown. It's grown folk talk.
Yeah, facts.
And I don't mind. A lot of guys were just not raised to have good hygiene. I don't mind teaching a guy like you should have a tongue brush, boo. You know what I mean? I don't mind stuff like that. But back to your lane, right? Fine. If you see someone that's attractive, shoot your shot, but be man enough to understand that you have to handle rejection. I don't care that you know what I mean? Because men say, oh, you can't even approach a woman. No, we can't even say no, thank you.
Facts.
That's the problem. I don't mind being approached, but you have to accept no, thank you. But why? What did I do? But I'm saying, I said no.
Yo, Jen, they slap, even in New York, and they slapping chicks up. They getting mad. They're beating women up for rejecting. That was an excellent point. Guys, be man enough to shoot your shot, but also be man enough to take a rejection. That was excellent because
Peter Mills, yo.
These are males. Facts, bro.
Keita Mill.
Yeah, and she said no. It's no. Now, I'm not saying. Listen, I've been told no before at the bar, but she'll kind of like say no. Like, and I'm like, I could read. Listen, you gotta be fluent in body language, and a lot of these guys are not fluent in body language because they're talking through their phone. You gotta read a room. You gotta read a person. That's another show. But like you said, if she says no, this is where abundance, we talk about in the space, Jen, Manosphere, Red Pill, the abundance mindset. How do you create the abundance mindset? You just figure out that, listen, since women outnumber us, she said, no, I'm going to go to the next woman. That's abundance. You create your abundance, right? So if she says no today, she's going to catch the 6 train tomorrow. I'm going to catch her again tomorrow. I'm going to try it again. You know what I mean? So it's all about persistence, and it's all about the cat and mouse. Like back in the day, it was cool. Like it was a conquest. Like now, like that thrill of the hunt is no longer there, I don't think, because there's so much abundance of women and dick. It's like, I remember I used to be like, she said, no, I'm going to get her. But more than likely I would get her. Nowadays and shit, the bro will block me, ghost me and shit. I'm like, ew, I'm done. So now it's like, I got to keep it fucking moving. Same thing for guys though. If you're not liking the shit that she said, no, leave her alone. And I will say this lastly. When a bro says no to you and you just say, all right, bet, cool, have a nice night, and you in the same club, you will catch her looking at you because you didn't try harder. That's gonna sometimes she'll say, well, what's wrong with me? You know what I mean? What's wrong with me? Why didn't he keep trying? Because most guys will keep trying to come after a Jen. Most guys will keep trying to come after a woman that's attractive. So you guys really need to kind of like set your bar and set your your limit as far as how many times you're gonna approach a woman, man.
I love that. I think Jabari's in the chat, but I remember him mentioning that, you know, sometimes men can't tell if a woman's playing hard to get. And I'm like, then when in doubt, don't even try.
Right.
When in doubt, if you're thinking, because I told him this ain't the 1900s. We're not dropping our handkerchiefs anymore. Women are saying no and meaning no now, because you have to change with the times. Women are more independent now. Everybody knows how to, you know, throw makeup on and be attractive. People are getting fake asses. So women are feeling more empowered for whatever reason. So now no is more likely to mean no than it used to, like you said, AV, back in the day. Because we're in a certain age bracket. Back in the days, I've said no to a guy I liked. And I'm like,
right.
I ain't checking. Today, my no is fuck off.
Right. Facts.
There's a difference now.
That's a big fact.
You have to be able to read that and have the wherewithal to be like, well, I'll just move on. There's so many women.
That's facts, Jen.
It's safer for everybody. It's safer for you, so you don't catch a charge. And it's safer for the woman as well, so she doesn't feel victimized. So when in doubt, don't.
Just say no. Keep it moving.
No, when in doubt, just say no and go for a woman that's more receptive. That's more like, okay, I see you, because they're out there. There's somebody for everybody. But your lane, you have to have your lane GPS. I want to welcome up Strong and Humble really quickly. And then I want to go to Haran or Reese. Do you have anything to add for the Your Lane GPS?
Yeah.
Who wants to go? You?
Yeah, I'll just say one thing real quick. I think that another thing that we need to take into account, I think brothers need to really concentrate a lot of times on just being multidimensional. You know what I mean? Get out of your comfort zone and learn some things, you know what I mean? And learn different cultures, learn different ideas, get different friends, you know, visit places that you've never been to, so on and so forth. Because when you do these things, read books that you wouldn't have originally, you know what I mean, read, listen to music that you wouldn't necessarily listen to. Because when you do things like this, what happens is that it really challenges your brain to grow. It challenges you as a person, and so on and so forth. And then what happens is that these new experiences, they make you more of an interesting person. You know what I mean? And when you're more of an interesting person, then you can bring more than just, you know what I mean, J's and penis to the relationship. You can actually, you know what I mean, you can actually bring a conversation. You can actually do something for a woman that makes you very memorable in her eyes. One of those things is that you can teach her something that she's probably never learned from any other man. We're not even talking about, sexually. We're talking about spiritually. We're talking about, intellectually. You might help her look within herself, and she becomes a better version of herself. She will always remember you for that. You know what I mean? But you have to be able to have the capabilities to actually, create the environment where, you can help her become a better version of yourself. You have to become a better version of yourself first, though.
My bro, let me just say
I
this
want to
real
go.
quick. Real
I wanna
quick.
go.
Brother.
Go
Real
ahead.
quick.
What's up,
Go
brother?
ahead.
Yo, what you said was awesome, and I want you guys to remember this. Jen may contest this, but I always say this on my channel. A woman doesn't want an equal. She wants a teacher, right? A woman wants to learn something from you. And to piggyback on what you said, sometimes you have to be a woman's mirror, right? And sometimes, they may not necessarily like what they see. They may try to say that, hey, you're being condescending. But if you have good intentions, right, and you really care about this woman, and you kind of want to not necessarily mold her, but you want to make her fit into your program, you have to look at her as if she's your mirror, you're her mirror. Now, way she's looking at you is how you perceive her. And if you can always teach a woman something, because women want to learn, they want to get better, they want to do things. I think women don't want an equal man. I think they want a teacher. And I think if men would really focus on bettering themselves, learning and having experiences, they'll be more intriguing and more interesting to women, as opposed to just allowing women to just kind of just pick everything, because women get bored very easily, bro. So I just wanted to piggyback on that.
I want to go real quick.
Let me just respond really quickly, because AB did say I would contest. I will say, what do you mean by we want a teacher before I take my earrings off?
Whoa. What I'm saying is, I mean, I think women are attracted to, aside from all the surface things, they want some wisdom. They want a guy that can kind of teach them about the way things operate through a man's lens, right? And new experiences. And I think women are receptive to that. In my experience, I think women are more attracted to men who can teach them something, and it keeps the things more interesting, right? As opposed to just being a man that's just there, whatever you want, babe. Okay, babe. Women want to learn something from a man. I don't necessarily think that they want an equal. I think, in my view, I think they want a teacher.
Okay, so all right. Earrings stay on. I agree with you.
Right.
I agree with you. Right. I love what Haran said. Be well read, be well rounded. Right. You don't have to travel the world to teach a woman something. And we do like to hear things in a man's voice. And I know me in particular, I like being with a man that knows a bunch of stuff that I don't know, and I can bring to him things that he didn't know. Right. Feminine and masculine energy equally, not being equal, but having each other equal, feminine sense and a masculine sense. So I love that. I love to be taught by a man. I do. I never feel like, oh, you can't tell me anything. I particularly love that. So, okay. I agree with that. Welcome, Glenn Lawrence. How are you, sir?
I want to go real quick.
Peace, Glenn.
What's good,
Glenn,
y'all?
what's popping? Glenn, what's popping, man?
Not much, man. Just living another day life in this beautiful California.
Hey, I see you, Tawana G. So I wanted to.
Reese wanted to say something.
Okay.
I think Reese wanted to say something.
When you were talking about lanes, right, Jen? I have a unique experience, right? And this might come off as arrogant, but for the last 20 years, I have not approached one single woman.
How many years?
20.
Wow.
Now, what I do is I sit around, I go places, I sit around like a bad bitch and wait to get bagged. It's the truth. I'm sorry. But what happens is I end up in these organic conversations because I don't go in with an agenda. My looks get me in the door, but my conversation will keep me there. You see what I'm saying? And I don't go in with an agenda. If you go in, if you're out here hunting,
K Nicole is saying, Cap, you ain't, it ain't been 20 years since you approached a woman.
It's been 20 years. I'm 52 years old. I haven't approached a woman since I was like 34.
Wow. Okay.
I refuse to. I work on myself so hard that I come out here and I think I have something shines through in me that these women notice the arrogance, because I really walk around this world like if I walk into a room, I dare you bitches not to talk to me. It's that serious. It's that serious, and it will show in my face. You know what I mean? It works. It works. I don't know if it can work for everybody, but that's what I found, yo. And
And where are these rooms that you're walking around daring bitches not to talk to you?
Well, I end up in a lot of situations. I'm a corporate bartender.
Let's go.
And I've been doing that for years. And I
Oh,
hustled in bars
well.
about 20 years before that. So I was around women
Oh.
24 hours a day. So that would have happened by default anyway, sooner or later, just mathematically.
These
Proximity.
women are drunk.
Listen, it happens in the gym, the supermarket, the parking lot, the gas station. I walk around with wife beaters on. I make sure my hair is nice, I'm clean, you know what I'm saying? I work out hard. And I'm gonna tell you something. When I was in my 30s, I looked around at the older guys and I noticed that these dudes are struggling to get women. They are going through hell and doing some crazy outlandish shit. And I made a decision. That is not going to be me. So when the brother was talking about diet earlier, what I decided to do was I turned vegan, right? And the thing he said about water and skin is true. You drink a gallon I can drink a gallon of water right now and I will look 5 years younger tomorrow. It's facts. I promise you.
Okay.
I've been doing it my whole life. I can gauge how I look, literally. You see what I'm saying? So I decided that I want to look this way for a long, long time. Here I sit today at 52 years old. I don't know what y'all see on y'all camera, but everywhere I go in this world, people are marveled at my age when they see me.
Awesome.
They say, there's no way you're 52, especially in the gym when I got my shirt off and I'm playing ball and stuff. Jen, do you care? Do you care if people talk about their channel?
No, I don't. No.
Okay.
Go ahead, you.
I'm a brand new YouTuber. I don't really give a fuck about my channel. That's why I never mentioned it. But on my channel, anybody who chooses to, you could go right now or later. I got pictures of my body. I put up a one-on-one where I destroyed a young boy in basketball. I put up a video of that like 2 days ago. I'm going to start doing fitness tips and teaching older men how to do what I did. I move like a 16-year-old kid. It is a fact. That's why I put the receipts up on my channel, because I'm tired of talking to people about it and showing my goddamn ID card. There's a way to do this. There's a way to preserve your youth, and it has to come on your dinner plate. And you have to drink a lot of water. See, water hydrates your cells and it swells them. So it makes sure it fills in some of your facial lines. And if you got like hanging skin on your elbow or stuff like this, and over time it will get better. You can actually make yourself look youthful, because most of us have been taking in bullshit for decades now. Candy, potato chips, tea, coffee, meat, something red, something blue. All of this stuff that God didn't give us. You see what I'm saying? And that's why we're fucked up. That's why we're all crazy in the head. You got dudes walking around 30 years old, 7 teeth missing, chicks in 8th grade, 200 pounds. I'm dead serious. I'm ranting right now.
But you're not. It's a fact. You fucking
listen to me, y'all. I worked hard. You know what I mean? It was days I was almost at tears because I wanted to do this and that. But I said, fuck no, I'm going to better myself no matter what. I've already decided how I want to die. And I want to die looking good, with 77% body fat, with somebody like Jen under my motherfucking arm.
Let's go. Keep grounded, bro. Yeah.
Had to get that out.
No, thank you.
Circle back.
Thank you. Calm down. What's up, Annalicia? I see you. So, no, I will validate this. You did say something in all of that. But in all of that, I would say that confidence is numero uno. Okay, confidence is numero uno over everything. Okay,
pop your collar.
AV, you even spoke about, big girls that they're out there and they're and I'm not talking about pseudo confidence.
Right.
I'm not talking about that fake, I'm bitter and I'm big and nobody believes me, so now I'm gonna act a certain way. I'm talking about women that are like, this is me. Right. This is how I'm going to be. I love myself.
This is what it is, right?
Et cetera. This is what it is, right? If you don't like it, you could keep moving, right? So I'm talking about real confidence. I'm not talking about that Lizzo type of confidence. I don't think that
right.
Lizzo is confident. I think Lizzo is bitter. And she's like, you're gonna take me as I don't, because she's always crying about being big. So I'm like, there's something there. There's something there, and it's not confidence. So welcome, Glenn Lawrence. Have you been listening?
Let's work it, bro.
I have. It's interesting. I'm trying to arrange my wording properly here, because
let's go. Shoot, Glenn, Deathstroke style. Let's go, Glenn.
Okay, you want me to bring the Deathstroke out?
Bring the Deathstroke.
Deathstroke.
Yeah. So for those that don't know, that's a new character that I am portraying in the DC universe.
Ooh.
I played Deathstroke for a fan film, and we're doing another one, The
Nice.
Origin of Deathstroke. So, um, yeah, my
Dope,
stroke is
dope.
death. But let's. You like that wordplay?
Let's
Okay.
go.
Um,
That was smart.
so I'm looking at this topic here, right? Rejection should not push men into the manosphere. And the problem that I'm the reason why I have a problem with that is because when we put a manosphere, we're putting all men spaces and all men community of education of either themselves or sexual interactions with women, intersexual dynamics. We're throwing them all in one bag of mess and saying this is what the manosphere is. And it's very disingenuous and actually really wrong to do so because it's almost like saying all white people are like this. And without saying that, there is different avenues of this manosphere. Now, there's some very toxic areas in the manosphere, and there's also some very enlightening and educating and edifying areas in the manosphere as well. But it's almost like all we see on YouTube is the TMZ version of Manosphere, and it's like the clickbait. It's the all women ain't shit.
Mm.
Topics, and when we do that, that's not that's labeling everybody. That's like really black pill. Yep, Amo, I see you.
Mm.
And so it's like we have to be careful in how we break down. If we're going to break down this topic, we have to break it down in categories. Okay, so it's like you have one category is like red meat, where it's all about the woman ain't shit. So let's talk about how women ain't shit. And then you have that category. But they're not the biggest group in this space. But it seems like the people that have the loudest voices tend to make the most noise and tend to be what gets labeled for the group or the
Mm.
space. And so for me, like I flirt on along the lines with, I believe that women ain't shit and I believe that men ain't shit.
Boom.
Okay, so both of them are out the gate. There's no advantage. You both ain't shit. What you do makes yourself valuable. What you do makes yourself worthy to be considered something. I don't think nobody's inherently privileged because of their birth. No, you have to earn that place. If you want to work with me, you have to show me that you're entitled to work with me, that you
Boom.
deserve my time to work with, because my time is valuable. Whether it's in the business or in a relationship, my time is valuable. So if you're not bringing anything that's going to enlighten me or enhance my time, then regardless of what's dangling between your legs or lack thereof, you ain't shit.
Facts.
And so I think when we get to this manosphere topic, we have a lot of people are big fans of, like, Kevin Samuels or Fresh and Fit because they like to blast women. And I'm like, I'm all for it as long as we're blasting, those same people are blasting men that don't reach up to the same standard that they're expecting these women to reach up to. It's like,
Facts.
why are you looking for a dime if you a nickel? You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Like, why are you complaining? Like, if you a quarter, then you should be talking about finding another quarter. But if you a nickel, why are you complaining that you only fuck around with pennies?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like,
Well
if you're
said.
not valuable enough to even attract a dime, then why are you mad that no dimes want to fuck with you?
Boom.
Level
Can I
yourself up
speak on that
first.
when he's done? When he's done,
Yeah,
can
go
I
ahead.
speak
I'm
on that?
done. I'm done. My rant
Well
over.
said. Well said, brother. Well
Really
said.
Okay.
quickly, I just wanted, let me interject, Ron. Glenn, I know what you're saying, but way in the beginning, I prefixed this conversation with, the not every cop is bad, right? Um, that said about the manosphere, like, hey, not every guy in the manosphere is bad. And I agree with you, right? The
Facts.
2 or 3 guys that are really, really nice and neutral, like, they don't matter in the grand scheme. I know cops. I know a lot of cops. Some are nice. The guys I know wouldn't shoot people in the back. But the entire organization, the foundation of it, it's bad. And now, unfortunately, even if the manosphere started off good, now it's bad. Because like you said, the worst mouths have the loudest, you know what I mean, effect on the entire manosphere. So the nice guys that are neutral are getting drowned out. They're getting drowned out. And the biggest arguments we hear are women ain't shit on this side, and then men ain't shit on that side. Now the women are fighting back. So I specifically wanted to talk about rejection should not push you into the manosphere, because a lot of guys that are rejected are looking for that validation that they shouldn't have got rejected. So I wanted to break down, no, maybe you should have got rejected. This is why you got rejected, but this is what you can improve now, which is why I wanted the men on board so you guys can tell the other guys before you run into the toxic section of the manosphere, maybe you should try this.
Well, I think rejection is. I don't. If you're a guy and you are
Wait
not
one
used
second,
to
Glenn.
rejection, oh, go
Glenn,
ahead.
can I
Go
say
ahead.
something real quick? First of all, when you're done with your fan film, please inform Jen. Huge comic book fan on my end, and Deathstroke is one of my favorite villains. So I will tell her whether or not you did a great job, just to let you know.
Follow him on
uh,
social media.
I
What
have
is
a.
okay,
I
all
have. I have
right.
a trailer for it. I'll send. I'll drop the trailer.
Please drop the trailer, and I'll tell you whether or not if I'm interested. I most likely am. You seem like what I mean. You get busy, but anyway, let's use this. Let's use your perspective for a second. I'm not saying it's incorrect. I understand definitely where you're coming from. Within that circumstance, though, will we be incorrect to say that whenever that occurs, because we've seen this occur many a times when a particular group, what I mean, explodes and expands, what I mean, the degenerates tend to have a louder voice. Would it be correct to say that the onus is on the manosphere to basically clean itself up? Because I'll give you an example. I mean, there was a time when hip hop itself was something substantial. It was something, I mean, worth listening to. We are all of a particular age. We can agree to that. Now it's something else. Now you can sit here and say that, well, maybe you guys just aged out. It's not necessarily aging out. We can also contend that, hey, there was a time, even when we were younger, that there were different avenues of hip hop. There was a Coogee rap, there was an MOP, there was a Tribe Called Quest. There was a common. There were different facets. There were different audiences, different things. Now there's just this one loud, ignorant voice that continues to yell and yell and yell and yell, and it's yelled enough, loud enough, and consistently enough to a point where that the mainstream media believes that yes, this is hip hop, and yes, this is this group. Now I'm going to give you another example. One of my shows right now is FBI Most Wanted. Strange, coincidentally, their recent episode was called. They had a recent episode called Incel, and was about a white guy. What I mean, who was an incel. He went and got plastic surgery to basically impress this woman on her wedding day. She rejected him on her wedding day. To his surprise, he goes off and kills her. Her husband, kidnaps her, then kills and rapes her, and the whole story goes on. But anyway, the point of the matter is this. Now you got you got an episode like that on a broadcast network. They were already painting the word manosphere was said on this episode. The word incel was thrown around. Oh yeah, the whole shebang was thrown around in this episode. And I was like, oh shit, these dudes are done. Because now, guess what? Now that concept and that idea has hit the mainstream, now people are just going to put the most vile, the most horrid elements of it, and they're going to shift it, shape it, and they're going to and this thing is going to turn into something that looks completely contrary to what it used to be. So who fixes that?
So
They're not going to
I
fix it.
want can I answer the question, because I thought that you made a
Sure, sure,
really interesting point, and I don't disagree, but I wanted to bring a few caveats here. All right.
sure, sure, sure.
Now let's say you line yourself with a specific uh, political affiliation, right? Now, you may have some wild bunches in your political affiliation that you don't necessarily align with, but you align with the common belief, the foundational principle of that affiliation, right? But you don't like this other party. And although this other party may be saying some facts that are not necessarily pleasing of your ears, you're going to make sure that you paint them out to be as radical and, extremely left as possible because their narrative conflicts with your narrative.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that episode kind of did that in a sense because I know exactly which FBI episode you're on. I actually have a few buddies on that project. They work in production. And when they told me about it, I said, "Oh, here we go," because what I have no problem with that episode. People ask me, "Do you have a problem with it?" I said, "Absolutely not," because it happens. But I do have a problem if they don't make an episode where there's a crazy woman that is conning guys to get with them and then trying to cry rape and trying to do what this girl did to Chris Brown, cry rape and then try to text him for 9 months and beg for him to sleep with her again and to spend some time with her. But now that she's not getting her way, she wants to sue him for $20 million. Nobody's making an episode on FBI on that. And so that's where this space is a necessity because what we have, yes, we have people that are very loudmouths and say some really irate and ridiculous shit and really should not be given any oxygen for their but the fact is we're saying, well, we need to clean that up. No, because society does it for us. Eventually, they lose oxygen. People will be like, you know what? They're not saying anything of value. They're just saying stuff that's entertaining and clickbaity. And so for those that are mature, they should be able to eventually read past that. And I know AV has a thought. Go ahead, AV.
Yes, please. If you don't mind, I want to just piggyback on what you said. I think with Glenn, and let me just piggyback on what you said. I think it's a necessary evil, right? I think it's a necessary evil. Now, what you mentioned about who polices it, man. I think it's a bigger problem than one person being able to police it because everybody has a voice and not everybody deserves to have a microphone. At the end of the day, I think we all have to govern and water our own lawns. We have to police and govern keep our own counsel, right? If you got a family, water your own lawn. Don't worry about the next man's lawn. But you're right. I think, however, at the same time, too, I'm the dude, if I'm at the club and a fight breaks out, I'm looking at the floor. I'm looking at the bar to see who's dropping their shit, right? That's old school. I'm looking for opportunities. I'm an opportunist. So despite the fact of all the real shit, despite the fuckery and all the dumb shit that happens, it gives me an opportunity to show people what not to do, right? So now, how much validity is my truth or what, quote unquote, you should be doing if I don't have anything to compare it to? So I'm not necessarily encouraging the clowns, but I'm not fighting the clowns either because you got to have night and day. So when the clowns speak, I have something to speak against, right? So I think it's a necessary evil, but I do agree with what you're saying as well. Who is policing this? It's all anarchy, bro. And this is why, I think, and I know Jen said something a while back. She said that you guys, something to this, I'm paraphrasing, we don't own YouTube. I think you said white people, everybody, somebody else owns this YouTube. You're not even on this. This is not even your platform. They're leasing it to you, and they're allowing you to be what they expect you to be. Respectfully, coons, dumb shit, do all the silly shit they want to see you perform. And this is why the algorithm is incentivized to make you do dumb shit. China is a TikTok app. China's TikTok algorithm is incentivized to embrace art, creativity. When they give it to America, they give us another version for the fuck shit, twerking, all the dumb shit. So we have to have our own discernment. Just because you can doesn't mean that you fucking should. So the Manosphere and the red pill, I think there's still some validity to it. I'm not here to police everybody. I'm only here to encourage people that listen to me to do things or look at things in another way so that way you can make your own fucking decision, bro. But it's a bigger problem. Even if we all hold hands and shit, it's not going to stop because people are incentivized. People want to cope. People want to be entertained. Not everybody wants to hear a fucking philosophy. And it's harder to be a winner because it takes work to fucking win as opposed to lose. All you got to do is show up. And most people want to be losers because they rather show up than win.
Let me
That's good. That's good.
let me
Yo,
piggyback off that
that's
a little bit
crazy.
because
Yo,
I
I'm
want
gonna
to
have to
bring
borrow
up.
that, AB. I'm gonna have to borrow that, homie.
Wait, I
Salute,
gotta
salute,
acknowledge that. Okay, I gotta
I'm gonna have to borrow
acknowledge
that.
Now you good.
that just encouraged me because sometimes I look at these spaces and I'm like, yo, what is this? Like all these these Flavor Flav characters, like they're taking over. The negativity, the toxicity is taking over. What are we to do? But we do need these clowns so we can be the opposite of that because we pull people out of destruction when they see there's something else. So salute to you and that because that encouraged me because I'm like, this is anarchy. What are we gonna do
every day, Jen?
Unpolice. We cannot police it. So what do we do other than just continue being who the hell we are? Because I'm like, yo, I was really like, damn, this is really like disgusting. When I hear people say, oh, you're in this space and you're saying, and we're all on the same space, idiot. We're on YouTube. It's one space. It's just one space. It's not my space. It's their space, and we're all here. So no, that we can't just gloss over that. We have to take in what you just said, and I'm like, yeah, that completely changed my perspective. Okay.
It's an everyday struggle, man. Trust me, I but it sounds, listen, it's easier said. It sounded fly, but it's hard. Even every day I look at this shit, I'm like, yo, what am I doing? But you got to fight the fight and you got to do what feels good for you. Like I said, I can't change the world, but I got to do shit at my age, bro, that feels good for me because the majority of the shit that's outside that's incentivized for us to do, man, is proving how they view us, man, whether you're Black, Latin, whether you're a Democrat, whether you're not part of the quote unquote elites. They gave us these platforms for us to be distracted. It's like a dude who got money that gives his broad spending money to go shopping. Go ahead, babe. Just stay beautiful, bro. I got shit to do. They distracting us. And now because you could get on the fucking mic, you could have 10 niggas on the mic talking shit. You act like you got a fucking voice. The only people you're speaking to are the people who are lost. The people who are decision makers are not fucking listening to us. So we got to be the change and the proof that we want to see before we even start trying to like change shit. Because if you're not the proof, nobody's going to listen to you, man. So it's a day-by-day process, bro. This is what I struggle with, and this is what we got to do.
You know what I find?
You're right. Like some people, I see people get like a lot of viewers, and it's because all you got to do is show up and be dumb with the person on the panel. It doesn't take much work. They just show up.
I think we're forgetting one thing, Jen, and I think many of us on the panel might feel this way subconsciously, but we have to really speak about what it is. No one ever leaves high school. You just leave the building.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? And when I say that what I mean is that in high school there's drama, there's cliques, there's extremist shit, there's all types of dumb shit going on. When you go to college, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's a different world, and you're sharing ideas and so on and so forth. And the professor actually behaves as if he really gives a shit about your ideas. Yeah, because you're paying. They're actually paying a premium. You know what I mean? So yeah, but
Super chat.
But exactly. So yeah, what do you think? Like, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's the same shit. So yeah. But when it's over and you get your degree, you've been in there for so long, you've been so conditioned. Some of us, we think that the real world is, should be that environment or is that environment once you get older. And it's like, no, it's still the same shit. You know what I mean? That it was before you went in there. And you also have to understand too, even on a political level. Look, listen, I did a personal poll with some folks. I said, hey, can I ask you a question? Are you a registered voter? And he's like, yeah. All right. Can you do me one solid thing right now? Just one solid thing. He's like, yeah, sure. Can you name me the branches of government? Just name me the branches of government. Can you do that? And they said, absolutely not.
I can.
And most of the people, most of the people that I asked couldn't name the branches of government. Now, here's my thing. this is I'm not here to get into political debate and so on and so forth. What I'm saying is that even and these people said that they vote. So I'm saying that, okay, so if you don't vote on your basic understanding of how government just works, just functions as a system, then you must be basing your vote on emotion, on
Feelings.
Mm.
It's
impulse, on
feelings.
feelings. And if you're basing these things on impulse and feelings, like these people actually know that you're doing, what are they going to present you with? They're going to present you with these
An
larger than life
emotional.
figures, like larger
Mm.
than life figures that actually you'll be like, oh my God, there's absolutely no way someone like this could actually be a regular person.
That's
But I
another
kind of still
show.
feel like I
What
could
are the
still feel
branches
like
of
this guy's a
government?
regular person. Like
And
for
you got the
instance, when I
executive,
saw
the legislative, and the judiciary.
Jen,
yes,
Jen is like testing you. Let's go.
I'm
Go
just, I
ahead.
got
yes,
you. I got you.
And it
thank
goes
you,
all the
brother.
way down to the
Thank you,
block
brother.
captain.
I really
And
did not.
brother, a lot of people think that all the laws are made in the executive branch. I'm like, no,
Nope,
that's
that's the
not
legislative.
how it works.
Like
That's
he,
the
Exactly,
legislative. That's the legislative
exactly that.
branch. The
And the
judiciary
executive
branch
branch
checks.
is
Yep.
where the executive branch executes what
Hmm.
they were given. Okay, and there's a
Don't get it
law of
fucked up.
checks
We know what's
and
what. Let's
balances
go.
to ensure that one branch doesn't become bigger than the other.
That's why they
It's a
have
whole nother different
three
thing.
branches.
Now, look, listen. When it came, like, let's look at Barack Obama for example. When they presented him, I was like, I was like, oh, this is some golden nigga. This is like some super nigga that they grew in a lab. I'm like, he don't got no dirt on him. He got a dark skinned,
Man,
big butt
stop.
wife. He got two black kids. I'm like, I was like, nah, they found these people on a planet. They shaved them down and taught them how to speak. There's no way this could be. This is real. But this is how they do this. If you look at Donald Trump, he just seems like he's looks Slavic. He's all
Fuck
over
that.
the place. Yeah, yeah, he's just, but
Hey, 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 hey.
he connects to these
Trump
truckers,
Nation.
and he connects, but he's got a, you know what he is? He's like
He looking better than ever.
he's like rich trailer trash, and that's what was sold to no, that's what was sold to the people, and it worked. Look, listen, I'm all for marketing, man. All this shit is just marketing at the end of the day. Because if they actually came on stage and told you, like, yo, this is what the issues are, this is what we're doing, blah blah blah, so on and so forth, people would tune out. They'd get
It's
bored. You know what I
WWE.
mean? And that's
WWE
all it
shit.
is. That's all it is. That's all it is.
Well,
But the
I got a
problem is
question.
that people. Go ahead, brother.
Here's my question. I don't mean to like bring it back to the topic at hand, but
please
like
Uh-huh.
Let's go, Glenn.
Oh, sorry about that.
I keep on reading this, rejection, and I don't know. Here's a theory. This is just a theory, but can we say that moms have ruined boys because
Mm.
uh,
boys? No, 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 no. Now here, let me finish. Let me finish, Jen.
Ooh,
Before
let's
you drop the hammer on
go.
me, I'm
okay.
okay. So rejection is something that is designed for males to understand. We are
Mm.
told no from birth. No, you can't have that. Why are you crying? Fix your face. Okay? No. You need to get up and go do this. No, if you want this, you have to earn this. No. So we're used to rejection. So for men nowadays, not to be used to being told no or not to be used to being rejected makes me wonder, were they coddled way too long on their
Hey,
mama's tit to the point where they don't know how, if you don't make the team, oh
woo.
man, I'm going to call my mommy. My mommy's going to tell my coach that I need to be on the team, and I'm going to be on the team. Because you know what? She's at the PTA meetings and she's going to throw a fuss because she brings the snacks to the games. And if I'm not playing, nobody's getting no snacks. So I'm just
Damn.
asking, do you think we've had a generation of mommy boys so coddled on the tit that they don't know how to take rejection so that we throw them in the
Mm.
real world? And now we have this group of quote unquote incels who had never been developed or been able to withstand rejection.
That's a good
That's just a
one.
thought.
Just a
This is my
thought.
thought on that. This is my thought on that. I honestly think it's the opposite. Men are constantly being groomed to conquer, and they can have whatever, and they're stronger than women. And man up, man up, man up. And I think
Not
men,
going.
so they can't take No, but even so, the men that aren't attractive in any way, shape, or form, I don't just mean physically, I mean financially attractive, I mean physically, I mean emotionally, spiritually, you know what I mean, their education, not worldly, not knowledgeable men. I think even they're expecting to be attractive with women. I think even they're expecting that. So when they're told no, when they're rejected, they become bitter. Hence, rejection should not push you into the manosphere. So I think it's the opposite, but I
Well,
am not.
and
Amen.
and the reason why I say that is because okay, um, there's five guys here. Okay, so hey fellas, I'm gonna do a poll. Here's a poll. How many times have you gone up to a girl and tried to get with her and she told you no? Raise your hand if you've been told no by a girl.
Sure. All the
I'm raising
time.
my hand right now.
Okay. Hey Jen, have you ever
20
went up
years
to a
ago.
guy that you liked and that found you attractive and he told you no?
Oh. Oh, let's go. Yeah, let's get that camera off you,
Right
bruh.
there. Right there.
Yeah.
So men are conditioned by society to take and withstand rejection from a
Oh.
very
It depends,
sexual
though.
from a very biological standpoint. Check this out. We when we see little kids cry, when we see a young boy cry, we tell him, "Hey,
Yeah.
fix your face. Quit your crying." Right? Because you know what? It's unattractive for a little boy to cry because it is going to be an unattractive crying man in the future. We're not trying to tell him to shut off his feelings and that he can't feel sad or cry. We're trying to tell him, hey, guess what? In the future, when you are a man, this is an unattractive trait that the opposite sex is not going to seem you being worthy of their time because they don't feel that you are capable of handling your emotions. So when we
Mm.
have a generation of men that are crying on the internet, all women ain't shit, boo hoo, Jen won't date me, so now I'm gonna be an incel, okay? Like when you have that group of men out there, it's because of their conditioning or lack thereof. So we're not building men to be men. We're building men to be feminine men. Okay? We have skinny jeans. Skinny jeans are your girlfriend's jeans. I don't know why they don't just
Mm.
call them that. Why don't they just call them girlfriend's jeans? They got boyfriend's jeans. Why don't we just call
Oh.
them girlfriend's jeans? Hey, you want to
Man.
be in touch with your inner feminine side. So you're wearing your thong and your girlfriend's jeans. Cool. Do your thing. But the problem is we're saying that it's okay for men to be this way, which is fine, to each is their own. But then when we're asking where are the real men at, there's no real men there because where the
No.
standard of manlyhood or manliness has been swayed from way
Mm.
strict to the super. I mean, when you have little Nas X walking around in a dress calling himself a gangster, I just don't know what it
Come
is.
on, my G. First
Wait,
things first.
Can I say this? Wait, can
Go
I say
ahead. Go
this?
ahead. Go ahead.
That you do have a great point, but then what age, what age demographic are we talking about here? Because I've seen dudes go from men that act normal to I reject them, and then now they're online on a rampage for months bashing women, Flavor Flav style. The only thing missing is a clock around their neck.
Oh my
So it's like, and
God.
these men are in their 40s and 50s. So what about them? Because I understand the new generation, they are more feminine. They are more feminine. The younger men of today are more feminine than we grew up. But what about these 40 and 50-year-olds who are disgruntled and bitter and barking at
That's a
women
good point.
for months and months and months when they're rejected?
Well, that could be.
Is the manosphere
All right.
facilitating this environment?
I got something to say real
The,
quick. Go ahead. Go ahead. You
let me
first. You
can
first. I
I
got something to say.
Yeah, let me just say something real quick. Another thing that we have to we really have to take into consideration. I think the men currently on this panel, if I'm not mistaken, we went through our bumps, bruises, and scrapes with women during our teens, during our
Yeah.
20s, and so on and so forth. So we got about a good 30 years of understanding how this whole thing works, to the point where when you approach a woman, you know actually how to actually steer a conversation in the direction you want it to go in, or you can sense the signals and be like, okay, this isn't going to work. Let me bail out. We have to take into consideration. There's a lot of guys who started real late, and when I'm talking about real late, we're talking about 30. We're talking about, some might even started at 40. Yeah, there's guys who started, you know what I mean, really going out there and maybe trying to, you know, I hate to say this, you know what I mean, learn the game and so on and so forth, and really, you know what I mean, take their bumps and bruises well after they got out of college.
Mhm.
So they went out there and they don't really have the proper coping skills because they spent so much time being conditioned to basically, you know, what I mean, not have a personality, not understand what it is to really go through rejection. So when they go through these things, they might have like maybe a couple of years of just going of attempting to have a relationship, and they probably just say, oh well, fuck it, I'm gonna just, you know, what I mean, go online and bitch and complain about it. And then what happens? Well, they find these manosphere, you know, these spots and so on and so forth, and they congregate and they get into these circle jerks and they get into this vicious cycle of this pity party instead of actually getting up and actually saying, "Hey, all right, man, let me fix this. Let me actually get my game together. Let me do what needs to be done," and so on and so forth. You know what I mean?
Facts, facts.
I'm a firm believer. I'm a firm believer that as crazy and toxic, quote unquote, toxic as people need to might say this right now. I think we need to go back in the days where a lot of young dudes were actually put on the game and taught life lessons from dudes who just got out of jail. You know what I
Salute,
mean?
salute.
Or ex gang members and so on and so forth. People who actually went through things. People who actually seen the hard circles of life and can actually sit them down and tell them, hey man, this is not what you want to do. This is where you want to go and blah blah blah. All right, I'm done.
Now you
So
good. Let me say
speaking
this. Go ahead,
really,
Jen.
really quickly, I wanted to introduce Strong and Humble. He actually said something interesting in
Oh,
my
my
comments,
fault.
so I want to introduce him because we'll be wrapping soon. And I wanted to say, I'm Strong and Humble. You made an interesting comment. You said that you didn't join the Manosphere, you joined the Crips, and that's what helped you. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, ma'am. I'm 49 years old. I'll be 50 in November. And so I grew up during a different time, like the guy said, when how things used to be in the old school. And um, back in the day, I was non-select. I always been interested, but I still have my moments where I like to keep to myself. But I grew up with a father in my life, and I was sheltered by both my parents, middle school and elementary and middle school. But when I became a teenager, you know, I started getting out in the world more, and then I got a little bit more rebellious. And then around '89, I'm from San Antonio, Texas, born and raised on the east side. That for years, many years, that was the black side of town. I grew up in East Terrace Project, but around '89, '90, Crips from California came to the East Terrace and other neighborhoods on the east side. And a local gang in the hood was formed, ETG, East Terrace Gang. But some of my friends I grew up in the hood ended up joining the Altadena Block Crips that came from, I ended up in the gang. And females wasn't the only reason, because I wanted to be down with the cool guys anyway. But I did like the attention I got from women at that, young ladies at that time, especially the girls who I knew didn't like me or thought I was ugly. It made me feel good to throw up gang signs at girls. I mean, I didn't pick on girls. I threw gang signs at niggas too. But it made me feel good to throw up gang signs, throw up my set to females who I knew didn't like me, especially if they were kind of attractive.
Okay.
Let me say this real quick. Shout out to Mr. 1950. Salute, bro. Let me just say this real quick, Jen. I'll be really quick. I know you're gonna wrap up. Three things. You guys said awesome things. So Glenn said boys and girls are conditioned or raised differently. I think it's very important for us to identify. Remember, if you have a son and a daughter, parents will typically say to a girl, you can do anything a boy can do. However, you can't say that to the boy. You can't say, hey, Johnny, you can do anything your sister can do. So there's a little bit of a difference there. So yes, boys are typically conditioned to supposedly to handle rejection, because you're blanketed that with you need to man up. Just man up. Don't worry about it. Don't cry. I watched a 2020 special where hidden camera show, undercover camera. A guy was crying in a department store. Nobody batted an eye. When a woman was crying, everyone came to the aid of the woman. So yes, men and boys, girls and boys are raised differently. But again, it is at the man's it's the man's responsibility to have that discernment to realize that things are just going to be different. In regards to what Jen said, 50s, 40s, and 50-year-olds. When I was growing up, when I was younger, rather, I was looking to the OGs for wisdom. Nowadays, older men in their 40s or 50s, the OGs are gone. They're looking towards the younger guys. So now it's like the blind leading the fucking blind. So, Jen, if you get a 40 or 50-year-old that cannot handle rejection, that's because he's listening to a younger person's podcast telling him how to fucking maneuver with a woman. Now, a younger person's podcast have girls in their 20s and 30s, not a woman who is seasoned, who's corporate, who's been around. So that's the reason why these older men are acting like fucking clowns. And to what my man said too, in regards to just overall, man, you got to understand something, man. At the end of the day, we as people, as men, you know, you have to identify who you want to be and just be that. You can't touch the masses, because the masses, this is what we call popular music, pop culture. That's for the masses. That's a distraction. If you can find yourself and be centered as a man, you find a woman that wants to also be centered. You guys can be centered together. You raise your family accordingly. You can live a life with less distraction. This is why there's some people that live in the suburbs. Some live in the city. Some people want to live in the fucking country. Some people want to live in the city. People that want to live in the city are typically younger people. They want to be distracted. They want to be all around. Me, I want to be like Yellowstone. I want to fucking ranch. I want to just chill because I did all of that. But the reason why I want to ranch now is because I did all of that. A lot of younger guys don't have that opportunity to do all of that. They're watching people do it as opposed to doing it. So in closing, guys, younger people, even older guys, older men, stick to what you know in terms of what your grandfather, your father should have done. Younger guys, stop looking at your peers to learn from. Look to people who are older to learn from. Why? Because older people have more experiences, and whether the game has changed or not, we've been on this earth longer than the person that's your same age. That's it.
I wanted to say really quickly to your point, AV. Tawana G, you're in the chat. We spoke about this. I do notice that the older clowns, they always link with guys that are like in their 30s. I peeped that, and I was like, how are you in your 40s and your crimies are in their 30s? That says a lot about that particular man. But then I also have seen women where it's like, back in the day, we liked certain music, and we had our aunts and our mothers like, why do you like that? That girl is saying X, Y, and Z. We don't have that anymore. We have 40 and 50-year-olds who want to twerk to WAP. You know what I mean? Cite, you know, Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B lyrics. So it's like these young girls coming up, they don't have that, you know what I mean, that adult woman in their life saying that's a bit much, and you may regret that if you do it later. So women are doing the same thing, going back to your point about it's anarchy. How is a 40-something-year-old man on a panel with not one, but two or three 20 or 30-something years old, and he acts like he's actually doing something? I'm like, you look like boom. A complete and utter buffoon. So it's like we have to watch that. We can enjoy certain music. We don't, you know what I mean? But it's like these kids have there's no generational gap anymore. Everybody wants to twerk now.
Right.
Well, it's because there's no standard. There's no standard no more. Like we got rid of standards. And I mean, and I'll end with this. Like the biggest problem that we face nowadays is that we don't have standards. We got to accept everybody. You got to accept everything. You know what? If you don't like big girls, you're fat phobic. Okay? If you have a standard or a preference that you uphold, then you're a problem. But that's the problem. We don't have standards. As a man, okay, growing up, my dad told me you had to have 3 things before you could be considered a man. Okay? And that was a house, that was a career, and that was a year saved up of savings that you could live off of if shit hit the fan.
Nice.
And all your cars, your clothes, your shoes, whatever you do on your vacation, that doesn't make you a man. That makes you a person with a lot of shit. You know what I'm saying? And it's so, but that principle is so key to me because I'm still in my late 30s. I'm still trying to measure up to that stature of what my dad said a man was, because I don't got the year of savings yet. I'm on my way, but I'm not there yet.
Right.
You know, so there. But what we have done, we're like, oh, you know what? I can't reach that standard, so you know what? I don't have to have a house. I can have a roommate. And you know what? I'm a man because I have a roommate. Oh, I don't gotta got a car, but my man gotta have a car, so I can use his car. We have watered down the standard of what is acceptable to be either considered a man or a woman. Okay, and then now we don't have a standard, and that's where the anarchy is, because we don't have anything to measure it by. And as long as we don't have something to measure it by, and if we are considered, you know, offensive by holding a standard to somebody, okay, that's a problem. Like, I won't mess with certain women that move certain ways, and that's my standard. You can
Right.
hate me if you want, but that's fine. You can hate me. I don't care. That's my standard. I'm not going to change a standard that I operate on to suit your needs, because all it is it's going to help your feelings feel good about yourself. Because if you don't reach the standard, the only person that has a problem with standards are the people that don't reach them, because they're like, you know, I don't meet the standard, so we need to, we want an exception to the rule so that we can escape under the standard by this exception clause, and that's bullshit. And we do that for men, we do that for women, and now that we're seeing more men wanting this exception to the rule, now we're seeing a problem, because now men don't even know how to recognize other men anymore, because they're like, wait a minute, you look like a man, but you're not a man.
Bing
You know,
bong.
I had a guy do like a 3-hour stream on me because I said I wouldn't accept coffee as a first date. He did a 3-hour stream about it. He was so angry because I said I would not accept that as a first date. If you approach me as a man, I would not accept you taking me out to coffee. He went on a stream and had older people agreeing with him. It's anarchy.
Listen,
There are
man.
no leaders anymore. Like, he went off because I said, but those were my standards.
Right.
You have to accept my standards. You can, thank you very much. Let me go over there and offer her some coffee. But that's not what's happening now. Now what people are doing are camming up and complaining for 3-4 hours about other people's standards. Because at the end of the day, it's complaining about standards. I've rejected some men in these spaces, and they've gone on and on for months because I rejected them versus just moving on. So absolutely true. All right, gentlemen. So we're going to wrap. I would love to hear your final thoughts. I freaking love this panel.
Let me go first.
Thank you for being here. I'm all about masculine energy. I love being around some testosterone. Okay, I like it because we're in these spaces with these effeminate men, these catty men. So this is why I purposely have these panels, and I pick these gentlemen specifically for that reason, because not just for me, but women have to see what men still look like and sound like, even when we don't agree 100%. I will always do this. I will not fold. I will not bend to the skinny jean wearing guys or the bitches that are calling themselves men these days. I will not. So you'll never see that here. So I salute you, gentlemen. I admire you. I love you. I love your advice. You inspired me today. And please, by all means, take us out. Let me hear your last thoughts. And let's do this again. Let's do this again, please.
Yeah, whenever.
Let me go first.
Go ahead, Reese.
All right. So I want to leave this time with a message for the men, especially to the younger men on the panel and any younger men listening. You want to carry your youthful and vitality and looks into your later years so that you won't run into some of the problems that a lot of men my age run into, and it will give you a better quality of life. So you want to take on some new practices and possibly drop some of your bad habits, which are costing you too much, by the way. So that would also, you know, give you more income. By dropping bad habits, you improve your health and your income at the same time. A lot of times you can kill two birds with one stone. So take on some new practices while you're young and youthful. And I'm one who can testify personally that I was the ultimate Ray that everyone would have hated 30 years ago. I did 10 years in the box for shooting a kid. I got 3 baby mamas, and I've turned my life around completely. And I knew what was in my brain then, and I know what's in my brain now, and I know how I switched it around. So I don't have any fancy words from a medical journal. What I have is my body and face here in front of you. So this is testimony and a receipt. I turned my life around through fitness and diet. And when my diet changed and I dropped my bad habits, my mind changed. The negative thoughts
Yes.
went away with everything else. And this is how I became who I am today. There are many different paths to this, but I'm just giving you mine. Better yourself now and maintain what you did to do that on into your later years, because you want to carry it as long as you can. It'll make you a better person. You'll be an asset to society instead of a hindrance. And that's it, y'all.
Thank you.
My love on that, man.
Strong and
I'm out
humble.
of here, y'all.
Bye,
All right,
Reese.
Reese, be good, homie.
See you on the next one.
Peace. Let me just say this real quick, man. Jen, thank you for having me on. Salute to the chat room. Salute to the panelists, man. Guys, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, Alpha Villains. Follow me on Instagram at Alpha Villains. I got a morning show, Finish Your Breakfast with AV, 8:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. This was awesome. I think this was a conversation that was needed. There were some haters in the chat. We blocked their ass. See, that's the we intercepted their ass. And basically, in a nutshell, man, this is how you're supposed to talk to women. This is how you're supposed to have discord. You're not supposed to be yelling at broad. You're supposed to just have conversations so that way you can learn. How are you going to learn if you constantly yelling? Y'all want to be entertained. Y'all got to go over there. If you want to learn, come over here. Let me know when you want me back, Jen. I'm out.
Thank you, AV. Go ahead. I'm strong and humble.
I go last. Let me listen to the other men while I get my thoughts together.
No, go first. Please go first. Go ahead. Don't worry.
Nah, I want to get my thoughts together. Let me listen to other guys real fast.
Oh, you want me to go? I'll go.
Yeah,
I'll say. All right. So to piggyback off of what Glenn was saying in terms of standards, I just want to say and put it out there, just in case people don't know, there's a number of brands that don't advertise. And two of those brands are the following: Rolls Royce and Krispy Kreme. Okay? If you want a helping box of diabetes and early death, all anybody has to say is that, yo, a Krispy Kreme just opened down the block, and they don't have to say anything. People show up in droves. Okay? Rolls Royce, they don't have to drop their prices. They don't have to negotiate, because if you're showing up to buy a Rolls Royce, you're showing up because you have what it takes to buy a Rolls Royce. You don't show up in window shop, looking for a Rolls Royce. Okay? And if you relate that concept to who you are as a man, and you understand that your reputation precedes you, and if people, see you and they say his name is synonymous with a person of standards, that word gets around. And I also say one thing, what I tell young men all the time: there's only two types of men in this world. Those men who have to show off, and men who only have to show up.
Ooh. Okay.
You figure out which one of those.
Let's go.
You figure out which one of those you want to be. And with that, I'm out.
Let's go.
Thank you so much.
All right,
See, those are the men I invite to my panel, the ones that just gotta show up. Okay. All right.
All right. Y'all be easy, man. Y'all be good.
Peace.
Thank you. Strong and humble. You ready? Come on, give us some.
I think we got Glenn though. Oh, Glenn already went?
No, I'll go.
Let him go. Let Glenn.
I want Glenn to take us
Strong
out.
and humble will close us out. Let's go. Go ahead.
Yeah, I closed out.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Glenn.
Okay. In this space, in a world of what defines a man, I've said this before on Gen Stream, and I'll say this again. If you have to tell me how alpha you are, you are telling me how alpha you're not. Okay? If you have to tell me how much of a bad bitch you are, you have told me how much of a bad bitch you're not.
Let's go.
Okay, move the way you're supposed to move. Level up. Stop worrying about what so-and-so's doing, what they're flossing. Level yourself up. Being a man is singular. You're not being men. You're being a man. Stop worried about what it takes to make men and worry about what it takes to make you a man.
Bars.
And the fact is that when we start focusing on the individual, start focusing on yourself, improving yourself, you become better. Look, I think Biggie said it once, as soon as you start chasing the money starts running.
Let's go.
Oh,
As soon as you start chasing the booty starts running.
facts.
Why are you so guys are so concerned about women that if you stop chasing them and you worry about yourself, they'll notice you. Women are very observant.
Very.
Women are so observant. They'll tell you what color socks you wore with your outfit. And you won't even notice what earrings they had in their ears.
Tighten up.
Women will notice you if you're at the level of where you need to be noticed. But if you're not getting noticed, then focus on yourself. Watch AV show. Have some
Hey,
breakfast with AV.
let's
All right.
go.
Listen to Afi Kingdom. You
Boom.
know, get some game. Stop worrying about what women ain't doing and what women should be doing. You should be more focused about what are you doing.
Yeah.
And until you stop focusing on what everybody else is doing and you're focused on what you should be doing, then you'll start making moves. But until then, you're just a spawn in this YouTube sphere, whining and crying. And you know what? I have a new term. Bitch is non-gender. You could be a male bitch and you could be a female bitch. And
Boom.
all bitches to me is somebody that has not reached
Mm.
their manlyhood or their womanhood. Okay, so that
Non-binary
means
bitches.
non-binary. Bitch is non-binary.
That's
So you
it.
could either be a bitch, whatever gender you want. Bitch is non-binary.
Let's
So
go,
stop
Glenn.
being a bitch. I'm
Boom.
out.
Bing
I love that.
bong.
Thank you so much, Glenn. I love that point because someone had asked earlier, what about the women that are fours but want high value men? You shouldn't be worried about women that are fours. You should be worried about self improvement.
That's it, my
Don't
G.
worry about women that are
Never
fours and high
mind
value.
that.
Why are you worried about a woman that is a 4 if you are 10? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why would I be worried about that?
Go
That
ahead, strong
makes
and
no
humble.
sense.
What do you got, strong and humble?
Okay. What I learned throughout the years, as far as the crip thing, the gang thing, and I'm trying to be brief. I had to learn. This can go for anybody, for young men, anybody. What I'm about to say. Like Glenn said, I had to learn to stand alone. And it's funny. I joined the gang, then I learned to stand alone. Um, I've learned to instead of running from myself, as I got older, I learned I had to stop running and just face myself, face my issues, whatever bother me. I had to learn to accept the truth, look in the mirror. And as time went on, I did self improve. I started dressing better as I learned myself, started having high self esteem, and I did start attracting some women. I wasn't player, but I was getting mine. So you have to deal with yourself. Then I had to learn that I have to have I can't base my self worth on other people's opinions or whether the lady will accept me or not, or whether certain niggas will accept me or not. I have to be good with myself, whether I get the phone number, whether I get the acceptance or not. I mean, whether I get the phone number or not, or whether people accept me or not. So that's all I have to say. You have to learn to be good with yourself and don't base your self worth and feeling good on other people, because a lot of times you'll be disappointed.
Boom.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, strong and humble. You're welcome to my
You're
panel
welcome.
anytime. Thank you for sharing.
Nice
AV, you
meeting you.
already know. Glenn, you already know.
Appreciate you.
Please follow these gentlemen. It's Glenn with two N's, Glenn Lawrence, Alpha Villains on Instagram and on YouTube. Strong and humble. Thank you for being here. Chat, I love
You're
y'all.
welcome.
Thank you for being here on time and
Leave a
contributing.
comment
Leave a comment, please,
for the
on the
algo.
channel
Yeah.
for the algo. Por favor, hit that like and subscribe on your way out. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe to my channel. Share this with any young gentleman that may need to hear it. There is life beyond the negativity that we see on YouTube, in the YouTube streets, and the clowns that are here taking over. We have to be just as loud because we have a lot to say as well. And we will do this again. If you want me to break down any subject, hit me on the block with Jen on Instagram or on the block with Jen at Gmail. Let's get this working. Let's keep being the people that people should be looking up to. We don't got to be perfect. We got to be better than what we're seeing. No skinny jeans. Okay.
That's it.
Hey, you know what? Jay-Z
Noonie
said
time.
this. Jay-Z
Yeah.
said this. He said, I can't wear skinny jeans because my knots don't fit.
That's it,
He
baby.
did. He did.
Yeah.
I
Hey,
remember.
one thing. We should have a panel on non-binary bitches.
Yeah, I
Glenn,
like that.
I'm doing a t-shirt for you, Glenn. Non-binary bitches. Let's go.
Let's do it.
I'm gonna write it down. Non-binary, and we're gonna talk about all the bitches. So
Let's
fill in
go.
That's all the bitches.
all the bitches. All right, guys.
All right, y'all. You
Appreciate
be
you.
good. I'm out.
Thank you
Have a
so
good night,
much.
everybody.
Peace.
Peace. Peace, peace, peace.
Bye, guys. All right, was that not dope? That's what we do on the block with Jen. Ain't no bullshit over here. This ain't a gossip column, okay? This is, you know what I'm saying? This is all love and learning and teaching. Each one teach one. I got encouraged and enlightened today, and that is what we want, okay? We have to sift through the garbage, and I try to bring y'all, decent, mature, knowledgeable human beings. Let me know if I have a slip and I'm not doing that. Hopefully next time we'll have more, femininity on the panel. I have the ladies up and we'll be discussing something else. Yeah. This was dope, guys. So don't forget, subscribe if you haven't already. Tell somebody to subscribe if they haven't already. Hit that like on your way out. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of On the Block with Jen. The next one's going to be good too. I'm already planning it. I'm going to have some comedians here and we're going to get all into the comedy world. We're going to talk about T.I.'s doing comedy now. We're going to talk about the beef between D.L. Hughley and Kanye West. We're going to talk about cancel culture and censorship and why are they picking on our comics when they are the light of our lives and make us laugh at shit so we can get over it. So that'll be the next show, and I am doing that on Friday, okay? So that's going to be a lot of fun too. So come, get comfy, get ready to laugh. That is Friday's show. The comics are coming to join me. All right, guys. So good night. Love y'all. Hit that like. And I'll see you next time. Hit me on Instagram if you want me to talk about something or you got some juicy you want me to dissect. All right, guys. Good night.